Glad tidings, glad tidings, glad tidings. O Son of Man, veiled in my immemorial being and in the ancient eternity of my essence, I knew my love for thee. Therefore I created thee, having graved on thee mine image and revealed to thee my beauty. O Son of Man, I loved thy creation. Hence I created thee. Wherefore do thou love me, that I may name thy name and fill thy soul with the spirit of life. Words of the glory of God, Baha'u'llah, to help us set the mood. As you've probably heard, God is love, and that we were all created in God's image. Therefore, we are the image of God. We are love. All humanity is God's love. And so therefore it is in each human heart that we will find the key, the source, the reason, the power to eliminate the scourge of racism. It is this love that we are created as, that when we let that light shine, racism and all these other problems will eventually disappear forever and ever, and we will have Christ's promised kingdom of God on earth. And in order for us to find that love, get in touch with that love, and take action from that love, I'm going to review these 5 passages, these 5 words of wisdom, if you will, and we'll go through them, and I hope that you find them interesting. The first word of wisdom, shall we call it, is love thy neighbor as thyself. I'm sure you're very familiar with that word of wisdom. Of course, it comes from Jesus Christ. It's in 3 of the 4 Gospels. But have you actually ever studied this? It seems very simple and very obvious. We're all familiar with this part, love thy neighbor. But are we familiar with this part, as thyself? I don't think we are, because this means we must love ourselves first before we can love our neighbor as ourselves. How many of you actually love yourself? I'm asking you. How many of you actually love yourself? Do you even know how that could be? What does that look like? I mean, we know what being nice to our neighbors, giving money to charity, feeding the poor, clothing the poor, or what. We know that part, but that's the second part. Did we do the first part? Do we understand what that means? Is that like the love of a parent for a child? Is that the romantic love? Is that what you feel, that wonderful feeling when you're looking at the ocean or a mountain vista? What is it? Well, this is where meditation and the rest of these and research about this. We can research. There's lots of good videos on YouTube about loving yourself and what it means and how to discover that. And I'm going to go into that a little bit right here. So we're going to come back to that. This is a passage from Baha'u'llah, the glory of God. He says, let your vision be world-embracing and not confined to your own self. One of the reasons why many of us do not love ourselves is because our vision is confined to our own self, and there's people who are looking at this who don't even know what I'm talking about right now, because their vision is so confined to their own self. You know people who they are the world. They themselves are the world. You know people like that. Baha'u'llah says, Let your vision be world embracing. How can you love your neighbor when your vision is confined to your own self? Again, you need to meditate on what this means. Look at each word, look at each phrase, and don't, what happens a lot with this verse is people stop here. Let your vision be world embracing. People who know this verse, that's the part they quote. But they never quote the second half, rather than let your vision be confined to your own self. So everybody needs to get up to speed on this one. Perceive everything as a reflection of God's love, starting with yourself. Perceive everything as a reflection of God's love, including yourself, starting with yourself. Because when you, like I said at the beginning, God is love. We and all of creation were created because God loved that creation, and therefore he created it out of his love, and he engraved his image on all of reality. So if you think about it, everything, including you, actually is love. Like, this is not flesh and bone. This is love. This is the energy and beauty of love manifested in flesh and bone. Think about that. You are love. You are love. You are love. Okay? And I just really like this. I saw somebody say this, and lots of people say this, and I love this. I just absolutely love it. I love this. It's so simple, yet it's so important. Light cannot spread darkness. Be light. Love thy neighbor as thyself. Spread your light. Be light. So I'm going to come back to this because I want to read this one, and these two are connected. When you change yourself, when you change your heart and your mind, when you change yourself, you literally change the world. You are no less a part of this world than a continent, than an ocean, than a mountain, than a tree, than a river, than a forest. You are part of this world. When you change yourself, you change the world. And when you change to be a spreader of light, your light shines on your neighbor. And then your neighbor shines that light on their neighbor, on their friend, their family, their co-worker. You see how important it is to first love yourself. Everything, the recognition, the realization that you are love. You don't have to find the love. You are the love. Love yourself because you are love. Not because you earned something or you did something or you merit loving yourself. When you love yourself, you will treat your neighbor as love. As you will perceive them as a reflection of God's love. You will shine your light. And you will change the world. And you and I together, we will eliminate the scourge of racism. Just by being ourselves, by being the love that we are, and realizing that, and shine your light, action, shine your light, action, meditate and act, meditate and act. Realize and shine your light. We will eliminate this scourge of racism. Ya Baha'u'llah Paul, Ya Aliyu Allah.